Hello viewers, welcome to my session. Today I'll discuss the instance variable in Java. We can call it non-static variable as well. So let's move on some characteristics of an instance variable. Instance variables are variables that can be declared within a class but outside the method. We can call it from inside any of the method or a constructor for that specific class. The instance variables are declared without including a static keyword, and these variables are initialized when the class is initialized. So let's see some practical example of creating instance variable as well as how we can use those variables in our code. As you can see, I have created a class called non-static variables, and now I will add some instance variables in this class. The first option was instance variables can be declared within the class but outside the method. So now I'm declaring variables within the class but outside the method. My test, so I declare a string instance variable. I can declare integer my values, and I can assign some number in it. Since integer is a number, we also can assign double my fees, and I'm going to leave it without assigning a values. We can assign character variables like my care, and we can assign some values like this. We also can create a string variables and assign some values here too. A string my text also, and when you assign some values, we have to add a double quotation mark to assign the values. So the value could be, this is my first class on Java. As I said, we declare all the instance variable inside the class but outside the method. Now let me create a non-static method in this class. So what I'm doing, I'm going to put some comments like use of instance variables. I declare a method public void use of instance variables. So as I said, we can declare instance variable outside the method. So this is my method called use of instance variables. Since I declare my variables outside the method and I didn't assign any value, so now what I'll do, I'll assign a value for that variables inside the method. So I can put I have assign a value of instance variable, and now I can print it right here. So if I want to print, I can print my test right here. So that's how we can call an instance variable inside the non-instance method or a non-static method. Since I have assigned a value right here, or we can also call the instance variable in a non-static method directly, something like this. Copy the print statement and put it here, and just since I have assigned value, my values right here, let me copy it and paste it right here. As I said, we can declare the instance variable within a method or a constructor. So this is a method. This is a non-static method. Now let me call a constructor. So to define a constructor, I have to put public, and constructor name must be the same as the class name. So we'll discuss about more on constructor in my another session. As of now, you might know, like when you create a constructor start with public, and that we should not have any void in it, and the constructor name must be the same name as the class name. So now I declare double as an instance variables. I will assign a value for that variables inside the constructor. I can put, since I declare double, it should be like this, 100.5. So you have to put the same digit in it. And we also can call the instance variable directly like this. So copy these two lines from here, I'll paste it. So I can print this value from the constructor. Also, since I have assigned some value for this, I can call it from the constructor as well. So as you see, we can call the constructor, we can call the instance variables inside the constructor as well as inside the non-static method. Now if I would like to run this course, I have to declare a static main method. So public static void main string args. So now let me call it. So what I said, if I would like to initialize this method, I have to initialize the class. So we can, if you look at my slide, as I have said, these instance variables are initialized when the class is initialized. So what I have to do, I have to initialize a class in my on the same class. So how do I initialize class? Let me copy the class name and paste it here, and I'll give the instance name non-static variables in Java. Can add new keyword to declare the instance. That's it. That I create an instance. Now I call, if I use non-static variables in Java in my class, so now I can call it my use of instance variables in my main method. So one thing we have learned before, we cannot call a non-static method inside the static method. So but we can call it if we initialize that class inside the method. So I have initialized the non-static variables inside the method, and I'm calling this non-static method using the object of the variables or instance of the class. Now if I run it, and definitely have to save it. So as you can see, it's printed 100.5 since I have called it inside the constructor. So what it does, when I initialize this class and run this main method, it directly call it from the constructor, and it also print. I have assigned my values, like whatever the print statement I have put inside the use of instance variable. This is the 2 is printed here. If you see, my values is right there that I have assigned over there. One more thing to learn, we cannot call a instance variable inside a static method. So if I do public static void static method, see if I want to call it. So let's say I'll call these my feeds in this static method, and if I would like to some values, so it giving me an error saying change my feeds to static. So we cannot call a non-static variables in a static method. So if I recap my whole session, so we create an instance variables without adding a static keyword. We also create a instance variables within the class but outside the method. Instance variables are initialized when we initialize the class, and we cannot call a instance variables in a static method. Thank you for watching this video. Stay with me to get more videos. Thank you.